Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. It is Tuesday, November 5th. Obviously, for some people out there, it is a big, important day, obviously, for the status of our country. It's election day, so obviously we do urge go out there and vote, no matter who it is. We just urge you to go out and vote. We don't care. But we are pro-parlay here. We are a pro-parlay sportscast here, so getting loud and cook. So we're just going to do a recap how we did yesterday. First, with my three bets, obviously it was a tough day for me. 0-3 day, minus 3.5 units on the season so far. But I mean, it's like I said, it was the beginning of the season, so I'm not going to, beat myself too much over it. First, I will say the one horrible beat of the night was definitely Arkansas State. That might be it's early, Ari, but that might be a contender for worst beat of the year. If you saw that game, which you probably did not, Arkansas State was up by 10 at halftime, and then all of a sudden, Akron comes out. They go on like a 10-2 run, get this game within single digits again, and then it was just pretty much like that the entire second half. Just complete revamped Akron team. They made it interesting, obviously. Then the late game happens. Obviously, it was a tie game. Arkansas State hits a bank three with 1 second on the shot clock, and I'm thinking, oh well, the spread is cooked because it was a tie game at that point, obviously, and it was a three with like 2 seconds left. But obviously, they reversed it because he didn't get the shot off. So it was 72-72. Akron went down the court, didn't get the shot off, or didn't get a good look at the shot, but the ball went out of bounds, so they had like 0.2 on the shot clock, 0.2 on the clock, didn't go in. So I'm thinking, okay, overtime, the spread is saved. Arkansas State wins by 5. Well, it's early, guys. It's early. Like I said, it's early. It's very early in the college basketball season. So, like I said, we're just doing a lot of data collecting here. And then going to Grand Canyon, they were kind of teasing with that 18.5 spread. They got to as high as, I think, 19 in this game, but they obviously could not get the job done. They couldn't finish. So, shout out Cal State Fullerton. They really came back in that game. But Grand Canyon, I mean, they still put up points. I still love this team no matter what. They're going to be a great team. I may back them in the first half a lot more. They do like to get out to a big first half lead. Grand Canyon, a really great team. Grant Foster had himself a day. They have great ball passing in terms of their perimeter passing. They're a great team. They're a great team to back. Obviously, just tough spot here. But I still think they're going to be a wagon this year. Despite that, obviously, like I said, first game of the season. But the team that's not going to be a wagon, Baylor. Wow. I mean, wow. What else can you say? I wasn't really so far fading Gonzaga. I was more just backing Baylor in this spot. That was the wrong move. Last night, I don't know. I'm still deciding what it was. I mentioned it last night. Obviously, it was either good Gonzaga, right? And I want to say this is good Gonzaga because they looked so good. Their defense inside the perimeter was amazing. They weren't opening any lanes for any of those guys like Edgecombe and Roach and or Mir. All those guys who like to drive into the lane and score. They weren't even opening up those lanes. So maybe it was good. Maybe it was good Gonzaga, right? The fact that their defensive perimeter defense and their defense inside the paint really, really good. But also, I'm thinking maybe it was just bad Baylor. Maybe Baylor's just bad because they couldn't shoot. No one could shoot the ball, right? The Edgecombe had himself a rut. But at the same time, I can't really say bad Baylor because, well, it's the beginning of the season, right? It's only been one game. So I'm still kind of deciding. Maybe I'm kind of leaning toward Gonzaga might actually be one of the teams that we see cutting the nets down potentially in April. We'll see. But right now, they look like one of those teams. I've been seeing – after that game, I saw so much Gonzaga love on my Twitter feed. I was seeing Gonzaga national contender this. I was seeing going all the way that. I was seeing Final Four here. I was seeing winning the conference there. Look, they're a good team, right? We have to see how they do, obviously, through the rest of the non-conference slate because, obviously, outside of a few games inside the conference, it's going to be pretty much a cakewalk like usual for the Zags. But, obviously, a tough 0-3 day for me. But like I said, it's just the beginning of the season, and with today's slate, I know Ari has to play, but I didn't really like anything. I mean, I was liking Texas Tech spread, but that climbed all the way up to 30. I was liking K-State, but that climbed all the way up to 30. So I'm just going to stay away from those games. But obviously, I'll have some bets for tomorrow, obviously, potentially, with some more games on. But obviously, 0-3 day, unfortunately. At Arkansas State, that was a tough loser for me. Like I said, just one of the worst beats of the year. Grand Canyon, obviously, they were kind of teasing with that spread, but Cal State Fullerton was pretty much making it, at least almost, single digits or, at least 12 or something, just anywhere below that 18.5 all day. And Baylor was ratchet. Baylor was ratchet last night. So shout out the Zags. They had a great game, obviously. Maybe the game plan for them was just, plugging up the lanes, forcing them to go outside because they can't shoot the ball. So, and we know Scott Drew has talked about this Baylor team always struggling to shoot at the beginning of the year, and we saw evidence of that yesterday. So that's maybe a little bit of a concern as well, for Baylor going into the future. For now, obviously, with how they really struggle to shoot the ball now, but maybe in January, February, we'll be back in Baylor a while, obviously, once they get that shot down. So, like I said, 0-3, unfortunately, minus 3.5 units on the day. Like I said, I'm going to bounce back. It's just the beginning of college basketball here. I don't judge any of these real results until we can get to January, February. Obviously, that's when real college basketball happens. Obviously, it's fun to see these non-conference games and the non-conference slate, and it's a big test for some teams. Obviously, we had really good games yesterday, like A&M and UCF. Obviously, the big upset of the day as well. We had Texas going down against Ohio State, a good team. So, obviously, there's still plenty of learning throughout this whole college basketball game. So we're gonna obviously just move on and keep that momentum going here. Obviously, so tough day, but I'm not beating myself too much. Like I said, I was only sprinkling a unit on these because I was not confident because I don't even have any film on these teams. But now that we have some beginning film, we'll see how the rotations look. Obviously, we'll see who are some key players for each team and whatnot. So we're moving on here. Ari, how'd you do yesterday? I know you had a beater win, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think he cleared his line.
Yeah, it was a good day for me. We'll start off with the Kings, which was as sweaty as a bet comes. It was a brutal first half, shooting the ball for them. They were down 13 at halftime. It looked like Sabonis might have been out for the game early. He got hit in the face, went back to the locker room early, but then later came back and got hit again, but stayed in the game. And then in the third quarter, they exploded 37-17 to take the lead going to the fourth. And Miami takes the lead back in the fourth. They go back and forth. And then they're kind of back and forth in the last couple of minutes. Miami goes up 4 with like a minute and a half left, and looks like they might pull away. But then DeRozan hits a 3 to keep the Kings in the game. Back and forth again. And then they were down by 1 with like 10 seconds left. De'Aaron Fox misses a floater. Sabonis grabs onto a rebound and puts it back up. The Heat went small their lineup, and Sabonis took advantage. So that was a nice win. And then, DeAndre Hopkins, I think he cleared it it was the first half with that long over-the-shoulder catch that brought the Chiefs inside the 5. I think he had 86 yards on the game, and he had like at least 60 plus in the first half alone. He had 2 touchdowns too, so obviously it was the breakout game for him. He's basically Rashee Rice. He's basically Rashee Rice now. So he took over that role in the slot a lot, it looked like. So he should be solid for the rest of the season, kind of in that role.
Yeah, obviously a great day for you. Obviously the Kings moneyline, very legacy hit. Obviously Sabonis with that last second floater, obviously to seal the win. Obviously for the Kings, that was a great legacy win for you, obviously. And then obviously DeAndre Hopkins, he was getting targeted early. I think in the first quarter or first half, or I think I saw it in the first quarter. He had like 4 receptions, 30 yards. So he obviously, you mentioned he was the Rashee Rice role, and we know the Buccaneers secondary just absolutely horrible, can't guard anyone, and we saw it evident yesterday. Mahomes had himself a field day. I think that was his best day of the entire season. I don't think he's had a 3 passing touchdown day of the season. So obviously that was his best day through the air. Obviously they got the win in overtime, so we didn't have to worry about the result there. But was just worrying about DeAndre Hopkins, and he was being fed early, and obviously that's nice to see there. So obviously nice to have the over 44.5 receiving yards hit for you, as well as the over 50, obviously, as the sprinkle. I was even saying, obviously, you maybe ladder it to 75 and 100. And, well, we saw him have a breakout day. So if you did, obviously, congratulations to you. But, obviously, we just wanted the over 44.5 and over 50 yards. So, obviously, great 3-0 day for you, Ari. So congratulations to you there. We hope that you can keep that momentum. Obviously, I know you got a game tonight on the college basketball court. First time for you on the season. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, it's the under in Cal Poly San Francisco. San Francisco returns one of the best defense. They were I think they were like borderline top 20 defense last year in terms of like efficiency and certain metrics. And they brought in the 7-footer in the transfer portal as well to help them even more down low. They're a 20-point favorite, so it's really just backing their defense to keep Cal Poly, in check. It's obviously a high total, but I think as we saw yesterday, some of the lines even for the odds makers are even for them it's kind of getting into a new season, trying to figure out all these new teams and especially with NIL and all that brings with all the transfer portal stuff. So for me, with what I'm expecting from San Francisco with their defense and how they can keep Cal Poly in check, is really just backing them here with how high this total is, and just hoping that they don't explode for 90, 100 points or whatever, which I don't think they will score that many points. So I think that's the only way it really goes over is if they, which at which point they would probably cover pretty easily if they were to score that much. But I just like the under a little bit more here.
Yeah, obviously we're not hoping for a Wazoo Portland State game. You did see that game. That game finished 192, Ari. So
I saw. I was looking like just randomly at my book, and I saw the Cougars were down 21-4, and they are still a small favorite, even down 21-4.
I mean, you should. I mean, you should have seen that. You should. I mean, it was a very interesting game to say the least. But I do like that Cal Poly San Fran under. You mentioned San Fran, one of the better defensive teams from last year. Where they return a lot of those guys, obviously as well. And with opening day lines, and obviously this is San Fran's home opener, so. Like you said, Vegas is still kind of adjusting to some of these lines as well in terms of full game totals. A total I was looking at as well was the ASU one against Idaho State. Obviously, ASU, I saw one of their scrimmages. I think they got beat by Duke like 103-47. So I'm just banking on the fact that if ASU can only score 47 against Duke, obviously, who knows? But obviously it's against Idaho State, so watch them score like 99 or 100. Just themselves knowing ASU. Bobby Hurley, one of the weirdest coaches. He'll have a game where they'll only score 47, but they'll score like 85 the next game, and you'll say, well, that's just how basketball is. And I'm thinking, like, okay, Bobby. But I do like that play for you, Ari, obviously going with Cal Poly and San Fran. Late night under on Tuesday, obviously, for the small college basketball slate there. I do like the under 153 for you, minus 112. That's Ari's one and only play for you. Like I said, I didn't really like anything. But if I was to give out anything, I'd probably give out the Idaho State ASU under. I know it's been climbing back up. I saw it around 139. I know it's climbed up to 142. But I know ASU's defense is probably going to be really good in this matchup as well. So I do like that play as well, but I'm not going to give it out. I just, as something, for the slate today, obviously very short slate, no basketball, obviously, with them encouraging all the people to vote. Now, obviously, very small college football slate. Ari, we got action. I didn't like anything tonight, but I do like one game tomorrow. Well, obviously, peeping to that, obviously, you can find all these plays on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. We will have Ari's card and this video posted momentarily. Like I said, that's going to do it for this episode. Tomorrow, of course, we got more college basketball. We have the return of the NBA after a day off today. And, of course, more college football, obviously, and getting closer to the Thursday night football game, which I actually am excited for. Bengals and Ravens, the rematch of that exciting game in Cincinnati where the Ravens snuck out the OT win. Now we got a rematch of that in Baltimore on Thursday. But that's going to do it for this episode. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korean. We will see you guys tomorrow.